Dear Diary, for the last playthrough of Transistor, I wanted to give the game a second chance, and thought maybe it would pick up. Maybe I was just in a dull spot, and the end would tie everything perfectly together. And it tried, but it also left a lot of unanswered questions. I continued through High Rise until I came upon the creature called the Spine. The Spine is basically a flying robot snake with laser eyes, and fighting it wasn't any different than fighting any other enemies, so my approach was the same. The coolest thing about the Spine fight is after I defeated it, I got to crawl inside its body and pierce its still beating heart. And for a brief second, I thought I was in a Quentin Tarantino movie. After that, I headed up to the Bracket Towers to catch 2 more members of the Camerata. Along the way, one of the members, Asher Kindrel, leaves me these cryptic messages explaining the Camerata's actions and plans. He says that the Camerata was trying to save the city because the people had the choice to build the city based on their whims. But people get predictable and choose the same paths over and over again. They had planned to use the Transistor to rebuild the city based on the Camerata's ideals, and the Transistor would act as a sort of paintbrush on the blank canvas of a city. The creative, influential people that were being sucked inside would serve as the paint, red along with them. But along the way, the process spiraled out of control and started deleting the city and hurting the people. Asher apologizes to Red and tells her that he's walled himself and Grant up inside the tower, and he'd like to invite her in, but she has to break the firewall herself. I'd like to add that it was very difficult to understand this part of the story. I personally am not familiar with the concept of a city built with robotics that could go haywire and start deleting shit and then having a tool that sucks up people's essences in order to repaint the city. So it would have been nice if you just came out and said it and not played the vague game. But whatever, man. You want to be cool with your cat on your shoulder and your blonde eyebrows? You go right ahead. I opened the door expecting some answers, but Asher and Grant have killed themselves. They were so distraught that their plans didn't work out that they couldn't even have waited another minute, even if it was just to explain things more thoroughly to me. They just had to end it all, even with the knowledge that I was on my way. Yep, this game just sucks its own dick. Lucky for me, they left a note explaining that I must reach Royce, the last member of the Camerata, who just so happens to be on the other fucking side of town. But how will I ever get there, you ask? Worry not, I can ride a cloud of murderous robots that I've been fighting the entire game. That makes perfect sense. I get dumped off where I started the game, and by now the process is busy doing, I don't know, robot stuff, and turning everything into white blocks. I'm almost home free, but I run into this terrifying robot man that the game has just dubbed Man, which I'm assuming is a human that's been infected by the process, and not, you know, the man. I make my way to Fairview, and that place is fucked. Like, walking on the ceiling fucked. Royce is there to greet us, but as a proxy. And he's talking about more cryptic shit, and I just really want to get this over with. I have to fight more of the Man, and those things are just a big pain in the ass. You have to wait for the right moment to attack them because they disappear, and then they also recharge. I actually died for the first time during the Man fights, and apparently when you die, you end up naked in a wheat field, because that's where we all want to go when we die, right? Hey, I like bread. When I reach Royce, he tells me the only way to stop all this bullshit is to put the Transistor into the cradle. But right before I do, the man inside the Transistor reveals that he loves me, which is great, since I just pretty much hit the reset button on the world. I love you, let's die. In the next scene, Royce and I have been sucked inside the Transistor, or so the internet tells me, and we must fight each other with our own transistors in order to escape the Transistor so that one of us can rebuild the city with the Transistor. Guys, did you know this game is about transistors? As for the final battle, spoiler alert, I win, and I emerge from the Transistor, and now I'm able to harness its power and rebuild the city, and everything will be great. Except the game decided to strip itself naked, douse itself in gasoline, and then set itself on fire. Because after I did all that, I curl up next to my lover's dead body and kill myself. That's right, because if I can't live with the one I love, fuck everyone else. I'm not gonna rebuild shit. You're on your own, Cloudbank. The end. This turned into a Shakespearean tragedy rather fast. Final thoughts. This game was not as good as I thought it would be. I hated how they took weapons away if you died, and I hated how you had to constantly install weapons that were taken away. I thought the story was a bit broken and too vague, It started out strong, but then it felt kind of rushed and unfinished, almost like the creators were in a hurry. And what was the deal with Red killing herself at the end? If that was the way she felt, why didn't she just die in the final battle and let Royce rebuild the city? At that point, he wasn't really a bad guy because the Camerata had expressed their mistakes and had even confessed to their crimes. So now nothing is getting rebuilt and everyone's just hanging in limbo. The other thing I don't understand is that her lover's soul or essence was trapped in the transistor and was conscious of reality. So when she killed herself, did she just kind of leave him alone, trapped in the transistor forever? Or did she herself become trapped in the transistor? And if that was the case, why was the narrator so upset when she tried to kill herself? I understand that the entire story could be applied as a sort of metaphor for human nature, society, love, and power, but if I wanted metaphors that strong, I would have just read The Great Gatsby and talked about the American dream. I still like the music and the art, but just music and art doesn't make a game complete for me. I just need more. But it's over, and it's done, and hey, it looks like they both got to meet up in the Afterlife wheat field, so good for them. I hope you liked Dear Diary so far, as this episode concludes the end of the first season. I'm currently going on hiatus for the next 2 months, and I'll be resuming Season 2 at the end of August. So be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on upcoming games, offhand jokes, and bitter disappointment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.
You'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we walk in fields of gold.